much for this beautiful day that we've had. I just ask that you are with us today in every step and every word and everything that is said and done here. Give us guidance and wisdom just to continue to promote the city and the betterment of the people and the opportunities that we have and continue to have coming forward. And we thank you and love you. Amen. All right. With that, council, I'm sorry. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda, Mayor.
All right, no changes to the agenda. Council, I'm looking for a motion and approval, please.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. All right. At this time, we're going to move into public comment. Public comment is for anyone wishing to speak on any item included on the agenda or on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Speakers are invited to speak from the podium and address the City Council. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is needed for translation. We please ask to state your name and address for the record before making your presentation. Public comment time is open. Can't say no to that. All right. Yes, please. Oops.
Council members, Mr. Mayor, my name is Kevin Oliver, for the record. I'm a real estate broker and one of your county planning commissioners. I'm here on a matter that we came to our attention. I want to bring it to your attention, and I'm hoping that we can correct this mistake that happened about 25 years ago. And it seems like there's a property on 300 West Tulare. Back when they were on septic a long time ago and they were putting in the sewer lines. And there was a, what do they call it? A deed restriction that was put on to that and it was a 55-year deed restriction for low-income housing. The bill that could have been paid at that time was for $1,700. And they put a 55-year deed restriction, making this property unsellable. And what we're hoping for at the end of this is possibly, once you have staff look into this, is to get a variance or to remove this if possible. In the notes from council, we took a look at it, and some of my questions that we had is, these are usually a lot of times done with a bond, a lot of times with the city or a county, where I don't know how this was done at this time, for a simple cost of $1,705 for a 55-year deed restriction that makes the property unsellable, I believe is an unjust position or to put a property owner in. I'm not going to say that we did this maliciously or whatever. I think it was done in good faith, but I think that it's almost, taking a something that we could have used a fly swatter on and we used a cannon. And I'm hoping that we can do this, as well as, it's an extensively long affordability period on this. And I'm hoping that this council will take a little deeper into this, have staff take a look at this. I don't know how many of these are out there. When I was reading this from your council here, excuse me, it says here, and I'm going to read from his email, staff has learned at the time property owners were given two options by the agency. One, to pay the sewer connection. That was the $1,700. And that's about $3,000 in today's dollars, just for info. And not have the CC&R placed on the property, or have the city pay for the sewer connection and have the CC&R placed on their property. He states here that most were given the choice of the latter. Now, my question is, in my 20 years as a real estate broker and my time as a planning commissioner, I've never seen one this harsh or this complicated in regards to a $1,700 bill. And I'm hoping that this body can take a deeper look in this and see what we can do to correct this, I think, thing that was done too harshly. And I thank you for your time.
Very good. All that information has been sent back and forth. So you guys
Yeah.
have all correspondence for all of this?
Yeah, I think the planning staff has much of that information, but
Very good.
if you like, we could review that and take a look at some of those issues and bring back a report for you.
I'd like to see, I don't know how many of them out there. This is the only one in the entire city that I'm aware of. I don't think there's any others.
Yeah, I'm not sure as well, but I know this is something that predates, I think, majority of us here, so.
Absolutely. What we're asking for is hopefully either in a variance or if we can get this removed so that we are able to, this property owner is able to sell the property. Because the restriction is not just as low income housing, but it restricts the buyer as well that has to be low income. And which makes this unsellable. And I thank you for your time, sir.
No, thank you, thank you.
Hello, my name is Amanda Kirschman. I'm a resident here in Shafter. I'm also a business owner of Sun Country Flowers. My address is 234 Central Avenue, downtown. And Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate that I can come out here and voice my concern. One of the things I just wanted to mention is parking in front of my business. There's about the same 5 cars parked in front of my business every single day for the past 2 years. And I've asked those people if they would move and park somewhere else. And they told me no, that there's no available parking. I have customers that call me and they say, I'm so sorry, I can't walk very far. I drove around a few times, there's no parking for me. So I was hoping maybe we brainstormed last night a little bit at a meeting, and thank you for hosting that meeting for us. And we kind of brainstormed, and one of the things that I think Gilbert and there was a few others that mentioned maybe having like a post, maybe with like a 20-minute only or 15-minute only in front of every single business. Well, I would like one in front of mine that just Sun Country Flowers, 20 minutes. That would be, or maybe 10, 15 minutes would be nice. And maybe having a police officer on a bike out there, marking people's tires and giving people tickets and, being, just keeping on it to make sure that people are obeying what the law is. So that would be helpful. And I mean, I have other things I'd like to say, but I only have 5 minutes, so I'll just start there. I also have a letter here that the owner of the Mini Mars Grocery Outlet would like me to read to you. She was not able to come tonight because her mother's having surgery. So I'm going to read her letter if that's okay. So it's Dear City Council, I'm writing this letter to ask for your help. I am a small business owner located in the heart of Shafter. Our store is a woman, infants, and children's program, and we provide healthy foods for our community, pregnant women, and their infants and children. I ask if the city can help us by providing our own personal parking in front of the store, because not only are we losing money, but we have a lot of pregnant women, and they must park far because there's no closer parking. As a store, we offer to help them carry their bags to their car. But if we can do more to help our pregnant clients, we will. We want them to be able to have a specific parking just for them so they don't have to worry about carrying so much or having to find a spot to get their nutrition for their health and the health of their babies. We would greatly appreciate it if you can take this in consideration, not only to help our small businesses, but to also help our pregnant community. Sincerely, Marcella Chavez. And I agree with her. So anyways, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before you run,
Yes, yeah.
is there a way we can get a copy of that letter?
You can have this letter. There you go. You're welcome.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you. I know we did meet last night. I know there were some others in the back. We talked about it. That comment came from the hub actually, and I think they had very reasonable requests to do it, especially in your guys' location. That made a lot of sense to me. So I don't think your voice is going unheard because it is a problem. There's not a lot of ample parking downtown, which we're grateful that it's busy, but it doesn't help when you don't have the parking in front of your store. So I understand that. Any other public comments? Absolutely.
Hello, my name's Giselle and I'm the owner of the Hub. And, you know, it is my concern as Amanda with the parking. We're close to urgent care, so a lot of the urgent care takes all of our parking and they're there from morning until night. And my parking is super limited, so I lose a lot of business. And especially people don't want to get off, because they have to park super far. And so for me, doing like a curbside parking, having like a sign that says the Hub's curbside parking, or just like Amanda said, a 20-minute parking would be ideal for my business, so it could, you know, grow and be successful. And I also have another concern. There's a trash can right in front of my business, and in the summer, there's flies everywhere. And they tend to go inside my business and, you know, it's not very nice. So maybe a possibility they could be, you know, that trash can be moved. So, and that's, and, you know, I also have, they're Spanish speaking, but their concern as well is the parking, which is the Nano's Barber Shop and Karen's, image total. Right? Yes. Okay, that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on. Just trying to type this out. Okay, very good. Any other public comment? Before I close it, I don't want to close it if there's not. Ah, good man.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, we appreciate the opportunity to speak as business owners, as residents in Shafter. I thought it was great that members of the council invited the community to sort of a public, involvement event last night. I think that was a great step. I know Amanda came home excited about the opportunity to be involved in the public and make her city better. And so, in preparation for that meeting, the family and I, a few weeks ago, we took a walk around downtown because we wanted to really understand what were the main issues. Obviously, parking is something that she deals with on an everyday basis. But as we walked around with the family, we noticed some other improvements that the city may want to take into consideration as they look at improving the downtown businesses. We took a series of pictures that day, and I don't know if there's a way to show these or put these into the public record, but I sure would like to, take everybody through a walk of our downtown, something that our customers and our community, they enjoy every day. Is that a possibility tonight to look at some pictures?
Probably not tonight.
You have them on a slide or
I've
something?
got them on some,
Well,
actually
you can
printed out.
do that. Yeah. If you have some available for us to look
There's
at, print it
three, I
out.
think.
Absolutely. Well,
Sorry.
that's okay. No, it's totally fine. If I may approach to the ice.
It's-
Pass those on.
I know,
You
big
get
old, big old
whatever-
TV, but if you get them in early enough, then yes, we can show them. I know.
It's public hearing, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't on the agenda tonight, so.
That's okay.
It's pretty hard. What you're gonna notice though, when you look at these pictures, is there are some maintenance items that would definitely benefit our downtown. About 25 years ago, the city, Kathy probably remembers very well, going and spending a tremendous amount of our resources to better downtown. And really what we have is amazing. You look at our fountain, you look at our trees, you look at our benches, our trash cans. Honestly, having a trash can is great. Go downtown Bakersfield, you don't even find them. So the infrastructure, the foundation of downtown is very strong. However, as things happen, right, is if you don't paint your house for 20 years, it's time to repaint the house. And I think that's where downtown is at. If we're going to, as a community, take on making our downtown a place for businesses to thrive, we need to work on the infrastructure. We need to work on the maintenance side of it. Some of the pictures you'll notice I took as a family, you'll see my kids in the background in some of them. As we walked, the drainage in downtown Shafter, right? It goes from the sidewalk to the parking stalls. And in between that, there's like this little curb cut. And basically it's where the drainage, the sprinklers hit it. When it rains, there's water in the gutter. And what's interesting is there's many places where there's Trex decking that is in between the tree planters and the sidewalk. So if you can imagine walking, this is all the way downtown from 5 Points all the way to Central Valley Highway. It's a beautiful amenity. However, over the years, some of these portions have fell in disarray. And so the Trex decking in many places is missing. In other places, the city has replaced the Trex decking with plywood, which I don't know how that they got away with that, but other places there's some grating that has been replaced with plywood. There's some areas that don't have any Trex deck, and you can actually fall into the water. One of the other items that we've heard, and we've actually experienced that, is that there's some drainage issues, and especially in the fall and in the summer where there's standing water in these gutters, we've noticed that in our shop, we have a heightened amount of not only flies, but also mosquitoes. And in fact, we had to put mosquito nets and stuff in our shop because there was standing water in the gutters. We're not sure how to fix that. I think that would be good for the city to replace that Trex decking, make that, freshen up those amenities in downtown. I think that'd be very helpful. On a praise note, the trees in downtown are beautiful. And it is a asset to our community to have Chinese elm trees line our main street. And whoever the city is employing to trim those trees has done a stellar job. Bakersfield butchered their park trees about 20 years ago and they never came back. And that's something the city should be a big pat on the back. They should receive a big pat on the back for having trees that you can park under and your car is shaded. I mean, that's a tremendous asset for downtown. So the city should be definitely commended for that. So let's keep those up. I think that's a great thing. The next thing I'd like to talk about is, you'll see also in those pictures, there's some of our buildings that have fallen in into disarray, to disrepair. And maybe I've ran out of my 5 minutes.
Yes.
So I request maybe I can have a 5 more if it's not too much to ask.
I'm fine with that. I will tell you, I know where you're headed on the buildings. Let me stop you before you get there. So as far as infrastructure goes, yes, you're correct. And those items should be addressed. Don't disagree. The buildings, however, are not something the city owns. So that's where we start to have the situation
I'll get
because
there.
you end up
I'll
with,
get there.
Yeah.
I'll get there. I've got an answer for that.
say it one more
because
time. 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. I appreciate that. And I think we should be very careful, right? We don't want to misappropriate public funds, right? I think that's important to keep. So then, okay, how do we create the conditions, right? This is the important thing. The city can't spend their money doing it, the public money. How do we create the conditions for the business property owners and the business owners to fix their own building? Because that's really what we're talking about here, right? City can't do it, the building owners have to do it. Well, I think the parking is a big part of that, right? If your business is flourishing because you can turn those customers over, then guess what? You can replace your awning, you can replace your sign, you can paint your building, you can keep those assets up. However, if you can't turn a profit and if you're struggling, then you have a hard time keeping your building in a state of repair that is beautiful. I'll just give you one example, the Stringham's building, right? I call it the Stringham's building because that was where it's a Stringham's building. It even says it on the side of the building, right? Their awning has ripped, right? Now, I think that they probably had to get a encroachment permit from the city in order to put an awning up. That is an awning that is protruding into the public right of way. I used to be on the Bakersfield City Planning Commission. I know a little bit about that. And so maybe the city can look into removing, I'd rather have no awning than a ripped awning. And maybe the city can look into revoking that encroachment permit. So at least it can encourage that property owner to make a decision. Either I want this awning or I don't want this awning, but it's ripped and it doesn't look particularly great. There's graffiti on the side of the boot building there. That's definitely needs to be addressed. A long time ago, I remember Errol's Barbershop. I walked in there and they were doing some work. This was maybe 30 years ago. And they got a grant from the city, and I don't know if this is possible anymore, and they actually had a look of how they were trying to make these buildings look, a systematic look throughout downtown. Maybe that's something the city can look into, specific plan and maybe a grant to help do that. I think also too, we need to understand what the economics in downtown Shafter is. This is not Bakersfield, remember, our rents in downtown are relatively low. For example, In Shafter, our rents are between, I'm also a licensed real estate broker, so I can speak on it with authority on rents. Rents in Shafter go from 30 cents per square foot per month all the way to $1.50 per square foot per month. Okay, that's relatively small amounts of money, right? So when landlords go and they say, okay, can I, in my budget, paint my building? It's hard for them to do that when they're making, in their 2,500 square foot space, anywhere between 750 and 3,000 bucks a month on their space. They just don't have it in the budget to go paint their building. It just doesn't happen. By the time you pay workers' comp and you pay the property tax and you pay, insurance, the trash, there's just not a whole lot left. And so if we want to, get to a place where we can give property owners enough money to be able to fix their buildings, the values of these buildings need to go up and so does the rent. And so that's something we as a city need to look at. How do we encourage businesses to be more profitable, which then in turn allows them to pay more rent, which in turn lets building owners charge more rent and then reinvest that money back into the buildings. That's the cycle that we have to figure out how to do. The city's given us a great start, right? They've made a downtown beautiful. They're going to help us with the parking. And I believe that when they go to improve and reinvest our money into the infrastructure, I think that the future of downtown Shafter is very bright. And I look forward with my wife and I running a business there to continue being a part of this community and putting our effort and our lives into the betterment of Shafter. So I appreciate your time tonight and I hope that you will partner with all of us to keep Shafter going.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, what was your name? Sorry.
Elliot Kirshenman, sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, 365 Cross Street. Thank you.
It's taken me like 35 years to figure out how to spell Kirshenman. There's a silent N in there that you don't have a clue about. It's crazy.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Hi, my name is Guadalupe Martinez and I'm employee of Nano's Barbershop.
Okay.
And I'm just want to add, plus the parking lot problem, just want to add that, a lot of teenagers riding bicycles really fast right there on the sidewalk. And, we have a lot of, customers like, seniors that they're, using walkers or, the electric chairs, whatever, things like that. And it's too dangerous for them because they open the door and they're, walking with the head down and the teenagers, they just boom.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys can do something about it too, they'll help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Seeing no other comments, I would go ahead and close public comment session. Thank you all very much, by the way, for coming up and speaking. With that, I will look to council announcements and reports. Councilmember Espinoza.
On 3/21, I attended the oath of office for Officer Santiago Escutia and Arturo Herrera. On 3/21, the same day, I attended the Richmond School District Expansion Learning Opportunity Multi-Purpose Building groundbreaking ceremony. And they were real excited about getting a new building. They're in the Richmond School District right there just south of the swimming pool. So I attended that. On the 22nd, my wife and I attended the Distinguished Young Women's contest, and Cameron Eubanks was the winner, but I know her as Cammy. So I'd like to say congratulations to her and congratulations to all the girls that participated in that pageant event. I know it was a lot of work and it was a great show, so I'd just like to say thank you and congratulations to each and every one of them. On the 25th, I attended an oath of office for Police Dispatcher Mia Hernandez. And then on the 29th, I attended the Sheriff's Academy graduation. And in the graduation crowd was Police Officer Santiago Escutia and Arturo Herrera. And so I'd like to tell them, thank you for their service and congratulations on completing the academy and starting their employment with the city of Shafter. On the 31st, I just would like to wish everybody.
Your microphone.
I'm sorry. The 31st was Easter. I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter. And April Fool's Day, I made it through the whole day without anybody pulling a joke on me. So that's all I have.
Councilmember Olvera.
Yeah, real brief. I took a tour of the Walmart distribution center down here at our industrial park last Wednesday. And very impressed with the automation and just the operation as a whole. Ignacio Villa, he's the general manager there, gave myself and Councilmember Alvarado a tour and showed us just kind of the way their operation works. And, you know, they told us they employ about 400 employees. They have about 400 employees there. Shifts, you know, vary. They operate 24/7. They're livable, paid jobs that they have. But it was very interesting to see the type of the technology and the type of jobs that are being created out there, and that they have the opportunities for some of our young adults that are coming through school and what they can learn and just kind of go there and start working. You know, a lot of them are into video games, and they have a whole room just set up with screens. That's all they do, is just controlling, making sure these machines are doing what they're supposed to. And it was very, very interesting. And just wanting to thank Nacho for his time. Great leadership there. Everybody seems to be in very high spirits working there. Didn't see anybody in a bad mood or anything like that. Everybody was greeting everybody. And I mean, they're very impressed. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Alvarado.
I just want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you to all the business owners of our community that came out just to share their concerns, because it takes guts. It takes guts to come, takes guts just to get up and bring the concerns to our attention. And also, you know, as a council, our goal is to try to meet those needs. And I believe with all my heart, we're going to do our best. We don't have a magic wand, but we're going to do our very best to address all these needs. And there are very important needs, because there are hazardous issues, bicycles or boards missing and sidewalk and tripping hazards, and just how the city downtown looks and those pictures. And sometimes I'll be honest with you, I'll be the first one to raise my hands. I go downtown a lot, and for some reason or another, I get tunnel vision, you know, because I'm just focused on where I'm going and making sure I don't run over nobody, you know? So sometimes you miss things like that. And there's no excuse, but you know, I'm glad that you all came out. I'm glad you guys had that courage to come out and share the concerns, because they are important to us. Also I want to share too, as Lions Club, we use the Veterans Hall, and I just want to make sure that, I just want to bring it out that whoever's cleaning the Veterans Hall is doing a very good job. And the reason I say that is because I walked in, I saw myself on the floor. I go, whoa. I said, who's that good looking guy there? You know, so.
Wow.
So,
Come on now.
you know, but you know, the shining of the floor, they did an excellent job. It's always been clean. They're doing an excellent job. So also, let's see here real quick. On March 27th on the Wednesday, Councilmember Alvera, Gus and I took the tour of Walmart, and thank you for staff and City Manager Gonzalez for setting it all up. It was an awesome place, and it's just definitely the future. And I just don't know how to get that, you know, for us, for the folks in the community to see what's happening in these logistics centers. They're very amazing. Technology is just out there. You take a tour, you're just amazed. If somehow, some way, if you ever get the chance to take a tour of the cold storage, Walmart, do it. Take advantage of that, because you just be amazed. And especially our students that are in high school now, you know, I'm sure they've taken tours. I'm sure in time. If not, I'm sure they're gonna make opportunities for the students to just get encouraged to see the technology. You know, sometimes reading it and then seeing it, well, you put it together, it makes a really bigger impact. So again, thank you for setting that up. And I also was, we had that, first Friday meeting at the Veterans Hall yesterday, so that was actually, the can opener that opened up all this, which was good, you know? So, because I think if it wasn't for that, would have been, we right now today would be blind to all this. So it actually was a good positive event last night. So, that's all I have to share. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, some of the same things that I've attended through the past couple of weeks is the groundbreaking. And the groundbreaking is an excellent program coming into the Shafter Richland School District because it's after school. And the after-school program has grown to over 500 kids that they're dealing with. So in addition to what we have at the Learning Center and the library is just another avenue. So that was really good and it was exciting to see there. It's not a complete prefab, but it is partially prefab and then they're putting it together. So they'll have it operational here before long. Also, the oath of office for the two officers, the new cadets, were sworn in already a week or so ago, and then we had their graduation because we've already had them with their background or their, their ride-along training. So they welcome both of those two guys, and then we have an academy class going in very soon. When's that start? Last Saturday, yeah, I knew it was very soon. So, and we have two in there. There's three this time. Yeah, let's hope that they can all make it through and then we'll have three more officers. Okay, then I also attended a city selection committee meeting, which is, and I'm the chair of that group and we meet before the COG meeting. The city selection representatives are one from each city. And so we had to work on LAFCO positions. Maricopa, the city of Maricopa was going off after having served for 4 years. McFarland is bringing on an alternate and Ridgecrest is coming in as a new one and they'll have 4 years to look forward to. And then under COG, it was really a rather light agenda, but it was important that we re-elect or elect officers. And so the new chair is Bob Smith and then the vice chair will be Zach Scribner. Also, they had a draft growth forecast, and if anyone's interested, this one was an information only because it's been available for the past month so that people can see and read what the consultant is looking for in the forecast. And you want to go on www.kerncog.org, and by April the 18th, there'll be a time to adopt it through the COG board. Also, attending the Distinguished Young Women is always exciting. I don't believe I've ever missed one. It goes way, way back. And I congratulate all the girls. There were 16 girls that participated this year. And I can say that they were all winners. And I believe that wholeheartedly because I like the program. The program does a great deal for these girls. Some of them are shyer than others and they really come out of it. Public speaking is really, really important. And yet you can be involved in public speaking and still get nervous when it comes your turn to come up there. But I was really very proud and we do congratulate all of them and then recognize Cameron Edwards, who is our representative for this next year. Also attended a history lecture that Stan Wilson does at the library. And I tell you, he picks topics of history that's really very interesting and he has a unique job. We're very fortunate to have someone who has such an interest in history for Shafter. And this past one that he did was on the Shafter German prisoner of war camp. And that happened back in 1944 to 1946. And it was located at 700 South Shafter, which now has the mobile home park. And of those prisoners that came in, I mean, he has some pretty unique stories that he's learned about through the years, and as well as a book that was written about him. It was really, really outstanding. Now, if you're in a group, he'll come to your group even and give you a shorter version of what he put on there, but it's a lot of history that really kind of stood out for Shafter. He was excellent presenting. And then the academy graduation is always a cool thing that happens. We haven't been able to attend in the past because they were always held, I believe, at the academy area and it couldn't hold enough people. They started with 44 cadets and they ended up with 32. You can see with 32 and families and friends that came. The Harvey Auditorium on Bakersfield High campus wasn't full completely, but it was well attended, and it was very impressive how they trained these fellows as well as how they presented themselves. And I was very excited to see the tour that they put on that shows what they go through in 24 weeks. It's pretty extensive. And if anyone's really interested, when we have a Next Connect group, just let us know and we can even take you along as a guest. Doesn't cost anything, but it's really an eye opener to see what these people are doing to themselves as well as to be able to do for our community. So I appreciate the time to go. Thank you.
Okay, very good. It has been a few busy weeks. First and foremost, thank you for all the business owners, all the business participants who are here. Last night was good. I think getting a chance for everyone to come together and talk, Rachel and I had spent time last year for First Fridays going to the business owners, trying to figure out what's good, what's not good, what's working, what's not working. We had a lot of conversation, city manager, myself, Mike, we had a lot of conversation on the public thoroughfare areas. It's kind of interesting when you're in an area that's not used often, kind of to your point. It's not used as often as it probably could be or should be. You don't realize what's happening in that moment. So last year was really good for us just to step back and go, oh, okay, there's a lot of opportunity here. And we want to continue to work on that opportunity. But again, to each and every one of you who showed up tonight, y'all kind of stole my thunder. Can I just say that? Because I told you, I promised you I was going to talk about the road or the parking stalls in front of your business, and y'all got up there and did it. So that's good. I don't even have to say it anymore, and we can have that conversation and figure out what to do. But I think it is very critical to have something there for you guys. Some it's going to be hard, there's some have a lot of parking area and some have so much, but they're using yours instead of theirs. It all depends on the area and location, but it's definitely something to have the conversation with. So it's not falling on deaf ears. I do want to say that. I don't want you to make it think it's falling on deaf ears, but it is something we wouldn't have had the meeting and had the conversation if we didn't actually care and want to see something out of it. So we're very thankful to have that moment. I will say it has been busy as well for me for twofold. The police officer graduation ceremony was great. Ours looked the best. I just want to say it. Our uniforms look so much better than that brown. Just putting it out there. We looked fantastic up there. So it was a really cool opportunity to see that. And I know I missed council on last 2 weeks ago. DYW has been busy. Let me just say it like that. My 16-year-old was in it, and I didn't think I'd be sitting here talking about that. One day you'll be there, Elliot. It's coming fast. It's coming fast. And it was kind of surreal because you realize that's the next thing is graduation. I am personally not ready for that right now. And so I don't really want to go down that road, but it's happening. Beautiful program, great turnout. Very excited for Cam. She's a little nervous, so if you can get a ticket to go to Bakersfield and cheer on that Shafter side, she would love every bit of it. So it's going to be July, I believe, 19th and 20th at the Bakersfield Fox Theater. Very, very excited for her. Very excited to have the girls come in. Hopefully they'll be in here, if not the next meeting, the meeting to follow, and we can definitely recognize them for all the hard work that they put in. So a great last few weeks. Excited to have everything going on and exciting for our march forward and what is yet to come. So very good. With that, I'm going to move into consent calendar. Tonight on the consent calendar, we have 8 items on the docket. I will read through these briefly, and then we'll look for a motion after. Number 1 is to approve general checks. Number 2 is to approve payroll. Number 3, approve overtime report. Number 4, approving minutes. Number 5 is to approve a special event permit for May 4th, 2024. That is the Cinco de Mayo event. That is probably the closest to Cinco de Mayo that we've been in a very long time. Let's say that. Number 6 is approve a special event permit for our Shafter Library and Learning Center. That is the Dia del Niño Festival on May 2nd. That is at the Learning Center. Number 7 is authorize the Public Works Department to formally bid the 2024 water meter installation project. And finally, number 8, adopt the City of Shafter employee biweekly pay schedule effective for January 1st, 2024. Questions, comments, concerns, please address. Otherwise, I need a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Espinoza, a second by Councilmember Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera.
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes, very good. We have 2 items tonight on our public hearings docket. Item number 1 is to introduce for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 752, adopting development agreement number 23-21 for revised tentative track number 7244. This is for the Marcona Preserve Specific Plan and City Manager. It's all
Sure,
yours.
Mayor and Council, the next two items are public hearings related to planning matters, and between our planning manager, Steve Esselman, and our senior planner, they'll both make the presentation on the two items. So
Thank
with
you.
that, Steve.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council, this item is a development agreement number 23-21 for a revised tentative track map number 7244, which is a portion of the Marcona Preserve Specific Plan area down on 7th Standard. This gives you a sense of what the site is. It's between the two canals. To the north of it is a existing solar facility. To the south is 7th Standard Road. Not a great picture. Can kind of squeeze something this large down to a smaller size, but this is the revised tentative track that was approved a number of years ago for 7244. And as part of the conditions of approval of tentative track 7244, the owner, which is Lennar Homes of California, was required to enter into a development agreement, which would oversee development fees, also give rules of the road regarding minimum size of homes, also provides what kind of homes would be developed, et cetera, et cetera. And so to give you some specifics on this, and since I forgot my glasses, I'll have to read off of this. It is again a development agreement between Lennar and the city of Shafter. 7244 includes 395 residential lots. The lots vary between 5,508 to 22,223. There's only one lot that's that large. It just happened to be a real interesting corner lot. Someone's gonna be really lucky to get that one. The track map is on about 126 gross acres, and by California Government Code Section 65864 at sequence. This section of the government code enables cities to enter into development agreements with applicants, which we have done. The highlights of the development agreement include impact fees of various kinds up to, although right now currently our impact fees are lower than these, but that's just in the event that in the future the city council decides to approve increased impact fees that would be covered under this development agreement. It would also makes the minimum size of a dwelling unit no smaller than 1,400 square feet, as well as there is a formation of a community facilities district for police and fire protection. That's something that is new in this development agreement in comparison to older development agreements. And with that, the recommendation of staff is to conduct a hearing and to introduce for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 752, which is an ordinance of the city of Shafter adopting development agreement 23-21 for revised tentative tract number 7244 in the Marcona Preserve Specific Plan area. With that, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer for you.
Okay, very good. This is a public hearing. We will now open up the dais for public comments for said track.
Here, might as well ask a question. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, just question, I'm in the development business. Just curious how Lennar is doing through the city staff, maybe how Lennar is doing with the other developments. It seems like they're doing pretty well. I would, Amanda, she whispered in her ear and she goes, "Oh, those are future customers for the flower shop." I said, "You know what, you're right." And we actually deliver quite a bit out to Gossamer Grove. However, it'd be great, from a sales tax perspective to see if we can get some more of those dollars coming into Shafter. I have personal knowledge of the developments that are going on the other side of 7th Standard. There's a Costco out there that may be coming. So it'd be great to figure out if, there's some development opportunities on the commercial side and try to capture some of those dollars in Shafter. I know there's a little bit to the east, but nothing in comparison to what's zoned on the south side of 7th Standard. As far as the fees go, I think it's great. The city of Shafter has a tremendous advantage over our friends in Bakersfield. Their traffic impact fees are quite a bit higher. We're developing some lots up on the east side of Bakersfield. And it's great to see that the Shafter is willing to invest and be competitive in that market. I think that's why you see Gossamer Grove as affluent and is really going as it is. And I think the council should be commended on taking that position. Certainly the idea of building some amenities out there are great. So I want to thank you for that. And if we can just encourage some commercial in the next sort of development projects, that would be awesome.
I'll answer your first two questions because your last one was a statement. If Lennar could build as fast as they could sell, they would be building faster. They get landlocked, not landlocked, I'm sorry, they get locked really quickly with their construction team. So they just can't build them fast enough, which is good, but they are doing it in a very reasonable pace as far as managing it properly, ensuring that, parks and streets and what have you are going the right way. It's a huge compliment to the work that's happened in planning prior, as well as Mike and his team to continue the effort that they're pushing out there for public works side. As far as commercial development, lo and behold, it's good timing. There's a gentleman in the back who would love to talk to you afterwards, because that is as much as I guess I can say. There are commercial pieces that are out there. They just recently got back this last week from ICSC. You're probably familiar with it. And they have been aggressively pursuing, there's a few lots, large acre lots there that they're aggressively pursuing to see what we can do in those areas. So if you have interest, they have ears and they would love to hear what you have going on. But yes, commercial is a very big proponent. Economic development is a big proponent of what we're doing. Not just in Gossamer, and I'll say this publicly, I have no problem saying it. Not just in Gossamer, because Gossamer is going to be very organic. But here in the core is rather important, because we are seeing the traffic counts where they should be, where you would anticipate, how are you seeing people in the north and south of us getting the retail space, the food space, but our traffic count is the same, if not more, than what we're seeing in those other cities. Yet we're not seeing that same aggressiveness being pursued with those spaces. So that has been a little bit larger of a focus to figure out the why and figure out how we can attack that and get that in here, because that is strategic goals that we have set up in place. So anyway, very good.
Share sort of what the development in Bakersfield, we've got a shopping center just south of there and we're building buildings, and it'd be great to see, okay, what does that mean in Shafter? How can we be competitive? How can we beat a Bakersfield print?
Absolutely. Nando probably has a card in his pocket that he's ready to hand to you. So you guys need to talk after this. I appreciate that. Any other comments for this track? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and close the public comment time. Council, any questions, comments, or anything in regards to it? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to look for a motion and an approval on the waiving the first reading.
I'll move that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Proud, a second by Councilmember Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes. The second item on our public hearing docket is to adopt resolution number 2958, a resolution approving tentative track map number 7447.
Can you hear me, Council? Yes. Okay. Good evening. My name is Alan Casares. I'm with the Planning Department. My first time presenting to the council. It's an honor and pleasure to be here with you. So yeah, this is good. Thank you. So the item that I will be presenting on is tentative track map number 7447. This is a tract of home being developed by, or proposed to be developed by Lennar Homes out in the Gossamer Grove specific plan area. So currently this tract exists under the tract boundaries of a final map that has already been approved by the council back in June 2023. It was a final map 7388 phase 1. And so that tract originally proposed 345 single-family residential lots. Now, this is the northern portion of that existing proposed lot, which has been recorded with the Kern County Assessor's Office. And so now this lot, or this tract boundary, which was previously proposed for 85 single-family estate-sized lots, is now being proposed for 145 lower density single-family homes. So it is an increase of 60 additional homes. With that in mind, there are no other changes to the street layouts or any other public improvements. I forgot my glasses, so I also can't see. So I'll be reading from here. But yeah, the plan also comes with a public park and landscape lots and a natural trail that would really incorporate the natural environment into the built environment there that the Lennar has going on. And, it complies with all of the City of Shafter general plan and municipal code ordinances, as well as the approved Gossamer Grove specific plan area. And so one of the reasons behind, or one of the conditions that allowed for Lennar to upsize this area was that the City Council and Planning Commission had approved a recent specific plan amendment. I believe it was 23-09. And that basically allowed for the change of state size lots for a lower size density lots. With that in mind, I think it is a proper area to have homes. As you know, on 7 Standard Road, we do have connection to the city of Bakersfield, and we also have the wonderful industrial park. Coming from a transportation planning background, something that the COG looks for is reducing greenhouse gas emissions throughout the region. And one of the measures that they use for that is vehicle miles traveled. So you have to consider the proximity of housing location to jobs, the job housing balance. So I think it's a really strategic location to place housing at. And it also complies with all of the subdivision map act ordinances. And so at this time, staff recommends that this tentative tract map be approved. So you can see here, this is the vicinity map, the tract 7447, the proposed tract is outlined in red. It's superimposed on tract 7388, the one that previously or currently is recorded with the county. Also recently, we had 7388 phase 2 approved and recorded that would allow for 13 new residential lots. And so Lennar is moving quickly on more development. This is what the proposed tract looked like beforehand. As you can see, there were many large size lots. But the reality is that I think what the community wants is smaller size lots, particularly coming from a younger background. And I think that these homes make a lot more sense and they're planned out well. So I will say that, again, staff recommends this and it complies with the general plan. It complies with the programmatic EIR that existed for this area. So it complies with all of the CEQA requirements. And with that in mind, that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Very good. Again, this is a public hearing. This is the public hearing for resolution number 2958. It is open for comment. Hearing none, seeing none. Public hearing is closed. Council, any questions, comments, or concerns? If none, I would look for a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I have a motion by Councilmember Olvera. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Olvera, second by Mayor Pro Tem Prout. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Gibbons.
Yes. Very good. That concludes our public comments, our public hearing, and our management report for the evening. Oh, we skated off easy. Moving into city manager comments and reports, sir.
Sorry, Mayor and Council, just one, our next meeting on April 16th, we do have a special city council meeting starting at 5, which is our budget workshop. So I just wanted to do a friendly reminder on that. With that, nothing further. And we also don't have any department director comments this evening. Thank you.
Have you had a chance to research the opportunity to move this to an outdoor public space for one meeting in Gossamer?
I'm discussing that with the executive team tomorrow, and I'll report separately to the council under separate report to council, but we are exploring what that could look like at one of the parks at Gossamer Grove.
Yeah, because doing it in spring is much better than doing it in summer.
Yes.
I don't think you'll be wearing a jacket in summertime. With that said, we're going to move into a closed session. We'll have to recess to go into it. Tonight on closed session, we have 4 items. Item number 1, conference with legal counsel for an existing litigation for case ID 757-063, 284-450, and 201-27075. Item number 2 is conference with real property negotiators for the 100 Carver Street Assessors Parcel number 091-18016. Item number 3 is conference with legal counsel for an exposure to litigation in regards to Government Code Section 54956.9, Section D2, and Section E1 for one potential case. Lastly, number 4 is the public employee appointment for our city manager. With that, I'm looking for a motion to move into recess and closed session.
All motion.
I'll second
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Espinoza, second by Mayor Pro Tem Prout. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
All those same sign for no. Hearing none. We're in recess. Mic's not on. All right, welcome back from closed session. I'm going to look to our city attorney to lead us out tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier tonight, City Council recessed in closed session. All members were present for the closed session. There were 4 items on the agenda. There was existing litigation matter and exposure litigation matters. With respect to those items, we have no reportable action. There was also real property negotiations and public employee appointment. And with those items, council provided direction on both items and we have no other reportable action. That concludes the report.
Fantastic news. Okay, with nothing else on the docket, I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
1 second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Hearing none. Dismissed
Aye.
at 8. Well, I have one opposer.
No, I didn't have